The first ever UCI World Gravel Championships were this weekend. While there were some positives, there was also a fair amount of room for improvement. Now, the UCI, the World Cycling Governing Body, puts on a number of legit World Championships: road racing, cyclocross, track, mountain bike. They also put on some balloon test World Championships events, such as mountain bike Worlds and the Team Relay Cyclocross Worlds. Can you tell me who won the Cyclocross Team Worlds this year? I can't, and I was there. I was at the World Champs in Arkansas, and I can tell you about how Marianne and Tom Pidcock won the legit cross World Champs. Now, on the plus side for the gravel Worlds, which sits somewhere between those two extremes, there were some positives. It was cool to see some of the world's very best riders line up and some take the win, like Pauline Ferrand-Prevot taking her 4th world title this year, stomping the competition, and Gianni Vermeersch taking the win on the men's side. Of course, Mathieu van der Poel was the big name there, along with Peter Sagan and a few others. So conceptually, I'm not against a UCI Gravel Worlds if the world's best athletes are there and are all in on racing it, and are not just there because a sponsor dragged them by the ear to participate, a la the mountain bike champs. But on the minus side, the UCI Gravel Worlds failed in many ways just to capture the imagination. Now, in many instances, it looked more like the Bike Path World Championships than the Gravel World Championships. And this was in Italy, home to many gorgeous gravel roads. Think Strada Bianca or the La Roica course. There's an exceptional amount of beautiful scenery in Italy. I didn't feel like this event served that up. Sure, the castle around, Cittadella was gorgeous, and that was a cool overhead shot, and that got the creative juices going a bit, but for the most part, it just looked like people, albeit very fast people, riding on bike paths and paved roads a lot of the time. To state the obvious, the health of gravel cycling absolutely does not depend on the UCI. Gravel was very much a robust and healthy thing long before the UCI decided to jump in on this bandwagon. And if Gravel Worlds up and blows away, gravel cycling will continue on apace. However, in the spirit of communal improvement, I stand before you in my Spirit of Gravel t-shirt to present the top 5 ways that the Gravel Worlds could be improved for next year. A simple way to improve Gravel Worlds is to make the men's race and the women's race the same distance. As Christy Moan, a boss of Unbound Gravel in Emporia, Kansas, has put it, it's just not that hard. You've got the course, just make the distance the same. I'm just kind of stumped as to why UCI decided to make the women's race shorter. Number 4, capture our imagination by making it epic. The World Championships should inspire us. Think about races you've watched like the Tour of Flanders or Paris-Roubaix. You get fired up, right? You love watching the action and you think to yourself, I'd love to go there and ride it myself. This is what I think the World Championships of any discipline should accomplish. Make you admire the feats of strength of the world's absolute best and get you stoked to go out there and do it in your own humble way yourself on the location of the Worlds. So how do you capture the imagination? Make it hard, make it epic, make it beautiful. Think the cobbles of Paris-Roubaix or the epic climbs of the Tour de France or the Giro d'Italia. Number 3, keep it gravel in terms of surface and self-sufficiency. So Mathieu van der Poel and Peter Sagan raced their road bikes. This prompted a number of comments, as did many elements of the Gravel Worlds. One was, the whole gravel bike concept is a sham. It's a marketing ploy of the industry to get us to buy things we don't need. My takeaway was that the Gravel Worlds wasn't really a gravel course in that a road bike was often the fastest choice. Also, the support looked much more pro road than gravel. I didn't see a single saddlebag on a rider's bike, did you? I counted exactly 1 hydration pack, and I think that was just on a rider who didn't have support in the mini feed zones where riders would fly through and grab water bottles. So it was basically a pro road race, but just without the support cars or race radio. Number 2, make it place-centric. Now, much noise was made in the US about how America invented gravel and the World Gravel Championship should be here. And yes, it would be cool to see a Gravel Worlds in Kansas or elsewhere around North America. However, one of the things that I love about gravel and bike racing in general is how it transports us either literally or just from the couch to places all around the world. So I think it's cool to have gravel racing in Italy, where the Worlds was, or in Philippines, where the first UCI series race was this year. That is nothing but a positive thing. What needs to happen, though, is to capitalize on what makes those places unique. And again, Italy has no shortage of gorgeous and challenging gravel roads. Lean into those things. And lastly, thing number 1, how to improve the Gravel Worlds. Make it inclusive. In the spirit of gravel, we all must start together. No, seriously though, a super cool thing about gravel is how inclusive it is, and we can all take the start together and do a similar experience. Granted, at a Worlds, it doesn't make sense to have 4,000 of us in the same way or getting in the way of a PFP or a MDVP, but Gravel Worlds could take a page out of the book of successful races and their corresponding sportives like the Tour de Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, or Tour de France with the Etape du Tour, and have the pros go on one day and then the amateurs go on the other, or vice versa, on a course that captures the imagination of both the pros and the amateurs. I understand for a Worlds that even age groupers like myself want a chance at the rainbow jersey, and that's a fine thing, but having a larger group that is more inclusive, I think is part of the charm. So take those for what they are, just some suggestions from a random guy in Colorado in a Spirit of Gravel t-shirt. Now let's go to a guy in Italy in a Schwalbe t-shirt. Sebastian Brewer just completed the Gravel Worlds in the age group category. Sebastian had just won the Badlands Ultra Endurance 400K gravel race in Spain a few weeks ago. I wanted to get his take on what it was like to participate in Gravel Worlds. We tried to get a interview going on video, but the hotel Wi-Fi was just not having it. So I sent him some questions and he recorded those and sent those in. Here's what he has to say. Also, if you want to hear a longer-winded version of my thoughts on Gravel Worlds, along with those of David Arthur and A-Cycling promoting Matthew Page, head on over to David Arthur's channel and check out an interview we did this morning.
Was the course selective enough?
The course wasn't selective enough to make that big gaps. I think it was like Unbound. It was the whole day was full gas, and everybody managed to conquer the climbs. And yeah, I think it would be cool to have a longer climb in the middle of the race, but yeah, racing is racing, you have to deal with, so maybe next year.
Okay. How many people were on road bikes versus gravel bikes?
Most of the people around me were on gravel bikes. I think I heard that Mathieu van der Poel used a road bike and some other guys, but I think the best choice was that gravel bike stuff. It's a world championships on gravel bikes, so yeah, gravel bike is a bike.
Will you do it again, or was it a one-time experience?
Will I do that again, or was it a once in a lifetime experience? I don't know yet, because normally, in my opinion, you just have to do stuff like that only one time and then look for another goal. But yeah, World Championships is every time a big goal, so I think I will be back next year to grab that medal. I missed today.
Okay, what other events capture your imagination and why?
Yeah, my next or after the World Championships, my next big goal is race across the Andes in Chile in November, and then my really big goal is Atlas Mountain Race in Morocco in February of 2023. So now I'm going to take a little break and then build up my shape for Chile and Morocco.
Why are these events so interesting to you?
For me, events like this one is so interesting because it's a big challenge and you can crack, but yeah, you have to manage everything like food, your equipment, your shape, and everything. And that's a really big challenge.
Okay, thank you and bye.
Thank you and bye.
Hey, thanks for that, Sebastian. And thank you for watching. I'm Ben Delaney, and I will get back to talking about bikes and bits and gear. Just wanted to get this spirit of gravel off my chest.